Hi, Kate.
Hi, Nancy.
Hello. We're a little bit early, so hopefully people will find us. As you join, please post. Let us know you're here.
Absolutely. I'm opening up my site now. Nancy, do you see that we've gone live?
I've gone live,
Oh, perfect.
and we have Debbie joining us. Hi, Debbie.
Welcome, Debbie.
One of our fellow workers saying hi to us. You are prompt, Deb. We have Andrea joining just now. So I love it. Please say hi as you come on board. Saying hi to us. We're echoing, so you're going to take care of
Yep.
that. Okay. Emily. Hey, Emily here too. This is great. So let's I'll just say it's I'm Coach Nancy and I'm here with Coach Kate. Hi, Kate.
Hi, everyone.
You know, as of today, there are 56 days left to 2020. And all of it is what we call the holiday season. We just got through Halloween, and there's many holidays left to go. And this can be a really hard time to be focused on continuing to lose weight or to maintain weight that you've lost, if that's your goal. In fact, we've nicknamed this the National Eating Season. And then I think to just add to everything, Kate, you know, we're obviously still in the middle of COVID-19.
Yeah.
And it's been, you know, for many people, a very stressful election season. So it just feels like it's just had more and more challenges as it relates to trying to be eating healthfully and managing your weight.
Yeah.
So we want to talk about that tonight, to talk about how to be successful during this holiday season. How do you keep up your momentum? How do you not give up and just wait to 2021? So please, let us know you're joining. Say hi to us. Kate, we got people joining?
Yeah, it's great to see Susan. We have Heather saying hello. Christine and Carla have joined us. Jennifer, who is in the group with me on Tuesday. So great to see you with us, Jennifer. Iris, I know that you're a regular with us on Thursday evenings. Yeah. This is wonderful. Bill.
All right, so glad. Keep saying hi when you're on. We're going to be looking forward to having
Shane.
You all participating. Who else?
Shane.
Oh, yes. All right, good. We know we can get started then. So what do you do to have a successful holiday? So, Kate, I think the first thing we want to talk about is it's going to sound selfish, but we have to make ourselves a priority during this holiday season. You know, when you think about it, so many of us it's just our natural tendency to want to take care of everybody else, right? Make sure everybody's taken care of, that they're happy, that they're healthy. And, you know, you end up putting yourself last on the list. But then what happens? You end up not having time or energy to take care of yourself. So let's talk about that. Kate, I mean, you work, you have 3 kids, and yet you definitely make sure that you prioritize working on your program in HMR. So why? Why is that?
Yeah, you know, thanks, Nancy. I do have 3 little ones counting on me. And truthfully, when I am not embracing the program behaviors, I don't feel good. I feel exhausted. You know, to contrast that, when I get in my physical activity in the morning, when I am doing my HMR foods, my fruits and vegetables, I feel 1,000% better. It is truly like a burden is lifted off my shoulders. Life is so much less difficult. And then I feel like I can really be there for everyone in my life. And in the group that I take each week, Nancy, we were connecting about this. We were revisiting our why. And one of the participants in the group said to us before the program, I missed me. I missed me. And I could just totally relate to that. Before I started embracing these program behaviors, weighing 30 plus pounds more than I do now, not doing the behaviors, there was times that I didn't even feel like I recognized myself, both physically and also mentally. So I thought his statement was really powerful.
Yeah, that is, and I know for you, you gained a lot of your weight in college,
Yes.
right? Yes. So, um, it's interesting again, just think about this for everybody else as well. Here's Kate making it a priority to still get in her physical activity and eating despite everything going on. And what ends up happening is you end up being a better mom. So
Yeah.
even though you are making yourself a priority, as you said, you end up taking care of everyone else in a much higher quality way. You're much more, I'm sure you're much nicer to be around,
I hope so.
for your kids and your husband. So again, sometimes, being selfish, making yourself part of your priorities ends up having you be
Yeah.
better for everyone else.
What about you, Nancy? What fuels you to keep your behaviors going at such a high level day after day, week after week?
Well, it's a good question. I was always overweight. So, I was overweight for a long, long time.
Yeah.
And but now I've lost the 60 pounds. I've kept it off for a long time as well.
Yeah.
And I just honestly never want to go back there. I never liked myself. I never felt well. I never felt good about myself. And I don't want to go back to ever feeling like that again. And, let's face it, I'm getting older. There's no doubt about that. And I want to be able to be active and continue to enjoy life for as long as I possibly can. You know, I want my husband and I to be able to travel and do things together for many, many years,
Yeah.
to be able to be active with the kids and not feel like we're holding them back. And eventually, too, if we have grandchildren, the same. So I have a lot of years I want to look forward to.
Yes, a lot of reasons for why. And certainly it was great for me and Nancy to have a chance to share. And we want to hear from you. How about your why? Why do you want to lose weight and work on these behaviors over this holiday season? Would love for you to take a moment to comment. And then, of course, as other folks are posting their whys, click like, show support for one another.
Yeah. Yeah, so let's see what we can get down. And again, I want to welcome those who are just joining. We've got Kendall from Georgia, Cheryl coming in from California, Bob, another one of our regulars.
Yep.
Is it Moira? I hope I'm
Moira, yep.
that correctly, from Long Island. Welcome, everybody.
Nancy?
Oh, you got a Nancy too. Good, good, good. I missed that one. All right, perfect. So again, welcome if you're just joining. And just remind, this is Nancy and Kate, and we're focusing on keeping your momentum going during this holiday season. As I mentioned earlier, at this point, there's 56 days left from now until the end of the year. We just got through Halloween, but we got many more tough days coming up ahead. And when you're faced with challenges, and especially if you've been at this for a while, when you're confronted with those challenges, it can be easy to forget your reasons for wanting to lose or protect your weight and health this holiday season. So we want to make sure we take some time to address that tonight, to just have you front and center remember why it is so important for you to work on this. And I want to mention a quote that Kate and I both felt were very powerful. We were in a meeting with all the coaches this week, and Coach Bill, some of you know him if he is your coach, he shared this quote, and we felt it was really appropriate for tonight. So here it is. He who finds out his why can tolerate almost anyhow. And I love that because, again, if you have those reasons are front and center, you're much more willing to problem solve, right, Kate, the challenges,
Yeah.
and not just kind of give up and say, oh, I can't do anything about this, because there are always. So again, please post, what are your one or two top reasons for working on your weight right now? Why is it important? We getting anything?
Waiting for things to come in. Susan did thank us for our honesty and just mentioned that she has a lot of pride and confidence from the success she's had so far. wants to keep it up. Susan, we know that you've been incredibly successful. You played such a great role on these sessions and certainly have shared your story so candidly too. So we wish you all the best. Shane, speaking up, and I know you posted this week an adorable picture of you and your
Yeah.
daughter. You had to make some drastic changes to be here for her as long as possible. And you can totally relate to my story too, Shane, and just being a better parent and better spouse because you are prioritizing yourself. Your quality of life is so much improved. That's wonderful.
We've got Stephanie saying, my why is to live well as I age and be able to rely on my own ability versus a wheelchair, etc. And Pam, hey, Pam was on with us a couple weeks ago. You're right, Nancy. My why is my health.
Mm-hmm.
And by the way, we'll intersperse some of you. We did ask people to share that in the diet community earlier this week, and we got some very powerful whys there as well, some of which you're on tonight. So
Yeah.
we'll also intersperse these, but we want to also just hear from you live. So continue to post and, acknowledge, like and whatever to everyone else's post. What else are we seeing, Kate?
Yeah, my immediate why is I need to lose weight for knee surgery. Long term, my shallow why is to look better in my son's graduation pictures. And there's nothing wrong with wanting to look our best. I know sometimes we might feel like we need to apologize for that, but we want to project ourselves to our loved ones in a certain way. So I can totally relate to that reason too. We can all relate to you, Moira.
Yes, never apologize for wanting to feel like you look better. Never.
Want to keep up with grandchildren is such a powerful reason. Those of us who have little ones know they have a lot of energy and you want to be there for them.
To be here for my family, I have 5 kids, and to be proud of myself. Again, there's no wrong reason. Cheryl, number 1 is why is health, to be around for my family. Cheryl, I hope you don't mind. Cheryl's post was very powerful, and I hope you don't mind, but I assume since it was on the diet community. Cheryl said, I started this journey years ago. I lost 70 pounds. Then I got endometrial cancer. It was only because I was seeing the HMR doctor monthly on decision free that this was even caught. So I credit HMR and that doctor for saving my life. I'm finally ready to take another chunk of weight off after not only maintaining my first weight loss, but adding some more weight loss during COVID. So for me, it's all about health and longevity. I want to be here for my husband and kids. Amazing.
Amazing.
Amazing story.
Wow. Yep. We have so many reasons people have shared on our community too. Nancy, I saw earlier this week, I want to stay off insulin. I want to be here for my family members. I want to have less pain. These reasons are so powerful. And this work is hard, but our whys really remind us what is possible for us. And we know the average American is not going to be successful this holiday season, won't be successful working on these behaviors, certainly will not have a successful holiday season. I can confidently say that. And it's important for us to remember our why. It increases our resolve to stay on track when it is hard. And even with those reasons, though, it is also equally important that we focus on the how-tos, that we have the strategies to really help us stay in the box if you are in phase 1, or see the positive results if you are in phase 2.
Yeah. So keep posting your whys. I think that's important. Acknowledge each other. But we also want to move on, as Kate just said, to the how-tos.
Yep.
So another thing that we asked was, what are you worried about with the holiday season coming up? And many of you shared your challenges. And, some of the categories that we heard are going to sound familiar to everybody. Certainly the high calorie holiday treats, right? There's the traditional foods that maybe you only get once a year. So those are all around. Family gatherings, however large or small they're going to be this year. Pressures from others to cheat, right? It's just one day, blah, blah, blah. And then also, if you're going elsewhere, having no control over the foods that are being served. So no doubt there's many challenges coming up. And, it's not just the holiday, but, there's all the stuff leading up and after. Lots of challenges. So here's the good news. And I don't mean to sound Pollyanna, but it is possible to navigate these successfully.
Yeah.
And we have people right here that have done it and, been grateful for the fact that they've done it.
Yeah.
And, just think about it. The fact that you're thinking about these challenges ahead of time, focusing on them, tonight and earlier, it gives you a chance to figure out what you can do to navigate through them successfully. So great. Starting to focus on it now.
Absolutely. Yeah, I would love for us to spend some time sharing successful strategies. You may have something to suggest for someone else that might be the very thing that keeps that person on track. And so would love for you to take a moment to post any recipe that you're loving, any strategy that is really keeping you on track. And we are coming off Halloween, where many of you did share with us your challenges and were very successful. Nancy, I know that you know, and Jennifer knows that I'm actually in phase 1. And so I made a pretty aggressive plan for Halloween and figured I would just share it with you folks. I actually took on a 5 shake, 3 entree, 10 veggie fruit day. So what I consider a blast plan, really doing higher numbers than I would typically do. I shared my plan with my family members to have them help me. One little trick that we've been talking about in group 2 is, for those of you in phase 1, checking in the box first thing in the morning and really making it your mission to not uncheck that during the day. That was another part of my plan. And then really having a plan for the leftovers. In my family, we do a little thing called a switch, where my kids enjoy candy as I try to stay away from it during the actual evening. And then they put it in a bag that I tied off, made sure that it was totally tied off. And they write a letter to the switch, basically saying, take my candy and please leave me a little something. And so each kid got a little something from the switch. My husband, or the switch, put the candy in his car trunk right away. And the leftovers were totally out of sight, but kind of had walked through what I was going to need to do from beginning to middle to end to be able to get through that successfully. And like you had said, Nancy, we have many folks who are with us this evening who have been very successful in the recent weeks, months, and certainly over holidays as well.
Yeah. And again, notice that Kate had some very specific strategies in there, like thinking about what was going to be challenging and coming up with some strategies to help, not to mention just communicating with everyone so she could get the support for all. So, again, think about anything that you have done in the past that's helped. It could be related to, again, treats that are going to be available that you want to avoid. Are there family gatherings that you're just not going to go to? How has physical activity even helped you with certain things? So we're starting to get some.
Yeah, I mean,
so some people are saying,
yeah.
Acknowledging the stress. So again, let's talk about what you're using. So family stress is so real. The reason why comfort eating started. So glad I'm learning tools to stop the behaviors. Tell us what tools you're learning. What are you using that's effective? Jennifer, I survived Christmas Eve and Christmas last year with extended family. So I know I can do it again this year. Planning is key. So Jennifer, since you are an expert at this point, just, give us some of the strategies you used that did help you stay in the box during those 2 times. Stephanie, to help, I get a hot cup of tea. It's like a warm hug. Pam, I planning ahead and I sent leftovers home with others. That can be huge just to get things out of the house right away. after
And
something is done.
And yeah, Pam, we'd love to hear from you too. Like, what does planning ahead look like? Is it you're anticipating an event? Is it you're doing, batch prep? You're looking in the morning what you need to do that day? Would love for folks to be specific as to anything that you can recommend that the rest of us have a chance to sample. Just scrolling through to see other suggestions too, Nancy.
I know I've had a lot of people, working on creating new traditions instead of some of the old ones, certainly taking foods that, have been traditionally made and how can I recreate them, but in a healthy way. So
Mhm.
that's an example. And certainly, in a couple of weeks, we're going to be having a Facebook Live that relates to Thanksgiving recipes that are in the box. So, again, we have some nice recipes available so that you can enjoy a Thanksgiving meal and still be in the box. So that's another aspect.
One of
Um,
the things that Shane said too is that I cook the holiday meals, so I make sure to have the friendly sides and spruce up an entree for my meal. Have chopped veggies on hand when I'm cooking to stave off temptation. And that was one of the things, Nancy, when we had posted, what are folks concerned about the holiday? It was really, I'm worried about kind of having the food decision made for me.
yeah.
And Shane is sharing a suggestion how to provide input to what the menu looks like and make sure that we always have foods that we can say yes to. I've been to events before where the person said, I'll make a salad for you. And then to me, it appears to be, high calorie dressing with a few pieces of lettuce. So that's not the salad I had in mind. And so I truly have to make sure I am providing the foods that I want to have to be sure that they're the way that I want them to be.
And it's interesting. I've trained family members over the years. So now, even if they're going to dress a salad, they'll leave some aside for me to put my own dressing on.
Yeah.
They'll bake a sweet potato for me. It's been pretty interesting how people, in addition to my bringing things, how they've been supportive of me over the years. Once you ask for something,
Mm-hmm.
it's amazing how they're fine, and then they'll just keep repeating it. And sometimes you actually influence others. So now they never dress the salad; they just put the salad out and put a few bottles of dressing on the side. So I'm winning some few battles there.
Yeah.
um, oh, Jennifer, great. I packed what I was going to eat during the celebrations plus extra for emergencies, which is another great point here. You always should have with you more than you think you're going to need. And then
Yeah.
inevitably, how many times have people brought, if you're on Healthy Solutions and you bring a vegetable tray or you bring a fruit tray and you think you've got plenty for yourself, and then everybody ends up really enjoying it and eating, eating
Yeah.
brought.
Stephanie gave such a great tip in there. I read all of it, and you folks can too, but just not showing up hungry. And there
Mm.
have been times when I have, been told, oh, the meal's going to be at 5, and we show up at 5, and the meal's actually at 7. And so you want to make sure that you are showing up to any event really, really full. We often call that the, front loading HMR strategy, that you have, shakes or lots of foods that are on your program before you show up so that you really are in a better position to make the choice that you want to when you're there.
Yeah, another strategy that I find really helpful, if I'm going to be around food, if I'm cooking food, certainly have, Shane had mentioned having vegetables to munch on during that, something low calorie to keep
Yeah.
your mouth busy. Walking around, like if you're at a buffet or something, just staying as far away from the table as possible, walking around with something in your hand. And if I need to, I chew gum.
Interesting. Yeah.
And it's really hard to eat when you have gum in your mouth.
Yeah.
So if you can subtly do that, that can be just a really helpful thing.
Great tip. The after the event has also been very tough for me, and it might be kind of similar to the timing of the meal, that you might have a meal, but you might hang out for a long time after, or perhaps it's also just being around the other food. So having something to have that you can really look forward to, a recipe you love right after, has also been huge for me. I've been doing this work for 15 plus years, and I've had some successes and I've also had some missteps, and nothing is more frustrating than getting through an event successfully only to stumble, if you will, in my opinion, cheat after the fact. So really something that we want to avoid at all costs, if we get through the event or the challenge successfully, to be able to continue on that successful path.
Yeah, I think one of the things that I've used for years and I've coached a lot of people to do is, well, number one, just if it's getting just too hard, make up an excuse to leave. But always, sometimes you can tolerate hanging in without eating something for a little bit longer, but then have something that you really enjoy in the car, even for the
Yeah.
way home. So that, it's like, all right, I'm gonna wait, but I know I've got this to enjoy when I get in the car. Even don't even wait till you get home, and then have something else at
Yeah.
home that's just right there, easy to grab, and just expect that you're going to eat more. But it'll be things that you want to eat that are helping you and that you're in control of. And then, as you said, Kate, it's not unusual to tough out through Thanksgiving and then, just lose it on Friday and Saturday. So again,
True.
just continue to be aware of that and make sure that you have plenty of supportive things around you, and, have as few temptations as possible. Are we getting any other
Yeah, Pam, who I had asked, said that she actually plans a couple days ahead, sets a menu, sticks to it, and on day of, she has shakes, fruits and veggies. She cooks so her family knows. And she said, regular green beans, how she would want them prepared. And she always has her fruits and veggies in the fridge in containers so that she can have what she wants. And she makes sure, again, the front loading strategy, eating something before she goes there. Her second purse is always with her supplies, which is fantastic.
You showed us that a couple weeks ago, and it's
Yeah.
huge. It's great, and it's very attractive. Oh, Susan, last year for the holidays, I was in phase one and was dedicated to staying completely in the box, even though that meant I was eating separately from everyone else.
Mhm.
So that's interesting. Oh, so I think by separately, you probably mean eating something different, is what I'm
Yeah,
guessing you mean, Susan. This year, phase two could get a little slippery, and that's good to realize, because uh, you're not in that box anymore, so it can
yeah.
feel a little bit looser. I might have to do in the box days on the holiday to keep it black and white for myself. So that's
Mm,
something you can think about, and make some decisions around.
totally. Yep. True, true. Yeah. And one of the strategies that a lot of folks embrace, and Susan, you may have done this as well, is even if you're having something different from your family members, you make something similar. So, a recipe with the savory chicken or the whole grain medley with chicken, if the family is planning something like turkey, the list goes on and on. And I know you folks have been really wonderful and offering incredible recipes for us on our page here.
Mm,
So that's always something to, of course, it's not going to be the same, but to make something that's similar.
yeah. Um, and Shane says, after dinner, I stripped the turkey and put it in. Shane's in phase two. I think people know that.
Yep.
I stripped the turkey and put it in containers. It either goes in the fridge and we leave my in-laws to go home, or people take the leftovers home with them. Can't nibble if it's gone. So you just get it completely out.
Yep. And one other thing I've done too, Nancy, just perfecting my strategies over the years, is if I make something, really delicious that I want to have, rather than make a certain amount just for the holiday meal or just for the challenging Saturday, I make extra so that after I can have lots of leftovers. I don't want to have extra of the foods that I don't want to have, but I want to have lots of extra of other things too. So that's something that I've gotten into a practice of too. So after the dinner, the next day, et cetera, I still have my delicious recipes to enjoy.
That's great. And, I don't want to forget physical activity. I
Yeah,
think,
true.
if you can, I'm a big morning PA person. If I can get some physical activity in first thing, and maybe not everybody can do that, but that just sets me up to a whole different way for the day. And then I find just, again, if you can get out and do some short bouts, just 5-10 minutes, get away
Yeah,
from it all. I just It just keeps me more resolved and just keeps me in better shape. So,
true.
to me, the physical activity is another key component to all this.
Yeah, we often call it the glue that holds everything else together, that when you're making the plans to do it, I know it seems a little counterintuitive, at least for myself, if my physical activity isn't where I want it to be, I should logically make better food choices. But the total opposite happens. When I don't hit my PA goals, my food choices are much less likely to happen. And so the physical activity as a way, of course, to deficit calories, but to also strengthen your resolve to make the choices that you want.
All right. Oh, and then Pam said, yes, and that's
Yeah.
true. HMR has great holiday recipes, have made them. And again, we're just beginning our support. We're going to be, actually having our event in a couple of weeks. We'll be looking at Thanksgiving recipes. So we've got lots there to help you with that. So Bob, who also I think is in phase two, and this relates to what Susan said, I'm going to be in the box on Thanksgiving and Christmas. And Bob, I hope it's all right. He had shared his why. And, Bob, who's been with HMR for a long time, he wants to stay off insulin. I'm enjoying my much improved mobility. Like he's much more mobile than he was. He has less arthritis pain. And then I was able to have TAVR surgery so that my heart functions properly. No more shortness of breath. Like talk about
Wow.
a lot of things to protect that Bob
Amazing.
has. So it sounds like for him, it's worth being in the box Thanksgiving and Christmas. And
Absolutely. And Nancy, remember we saw that great tip too about the, was it Mary who's on tonight who had posted that jar?
yeah, yes, Mary, definitely. I imagine many of you have seen that Mary's
Yeah.
on tonight, or she was on. I'm not sure if she's still on, but she has that jar that she's created for 64 reasons
Yeah.
um, for why work on this during the holidays. And every day she adds and she posts another reason. And, and she was saying, I think this was day 6, that, like she's determined to do the program by the book and not kind of create her own rules.
Yeah.
And so far, it has really supported her. Day 6, she's been in the box the whole time.
Mhm.
So that was a neat
True.
strategy.
That was so nice to have that focus and to have her, you, Mary, share that suggestion. And Lori had shared with us that, thanking everyone for their suggestions and just being hopeful that families can gather on the holidays, and how COVID is really terrorizing our communities. And so, thank you for sharing that, Lori. And there are a lot of unknowns with the holidays. Of course, we don't know if we are going to be able to get together with folks. One thing that we can count on, unfortunately, is that we will have the food challenges. Those seem to never go away. And in fact, they can even feel enhanced by the challenges in our world. So no doubt about that for sure, Lori.
Well, sometimes when you're not able to have your typical like get together with people, you can feel sad about it, and
Yeah.
miss people. And sometimes that's enough to generate wanting to eat, right?
Yeah, and I was thinking about getting together with, I have two brothers, one brother and his family, so that we could keep our gathering very small. And he had sent me a couple suggestions on the menu, and it was as if he was planning for our typical gathering of 30 people, as opposed to small. So that's another thing that could happen. You have the family recipes and traditions, but you have a much smaller gathering. So of course, we don't want to be around all of those temptations in a much larger scale.
Hmm. Um, just a couple things.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, Mary's still on, and she
Oh,
said
nice.
keeping her honest, which is great.
Great.
Stephanie, so this is starting to be a bit of a discussion here. I do think staying in the box is easier than trying to manage what I put on my plate. and I'm in year 2 of maintenance. I made sure to stock up on HMR items for the upcoming holidays. And Bob responded, I could not have had the surgery when I weighed over 550 pounds, and I would not
Wow.
be here now without it. So, oh, Bob,
Um,
it makes my heart sing. Denise is with us, and she's been in the program for a week. So welcome. I'm worried about Christmas as it's my
yeah.
favorite holiday, and the special goodies only have once a year. I've been in the box, but worried about Christmas.
Mhm.
Well, you're in the right place, Denise. And the good news is you've got what, several more weeks before it's Christmas. So a lot of time to think about it.
Yeah.
Um, I think what you'll hear here is probably the best decision would be to stay in the box, and we'll have many ways to support you to be able to do that. But that's obviously something that you have to decide.
Yeah, and I would also say too for Denise that, being worried is totally normal, and anticipating what the challenge will be puts you in a much better place to ultimately have that holiday be different. And like you were saying, Nancy, we have many folks with us who have done holidays successfully, and it does not mean that we can't have a nice holiday or spend time with the folks who live in our home if that's important to us, but our food choices may look different. And when we ask people after the fact, was it worth it to stay in the box or make a different choice? It really does seem to be worth it for sure.
And Shane replied to Denise. Denise, Shane's been in phase 2 for about 3 years. He's lost over 100 pounds. So he's had a lot of experience, and he's saying to you, you can do it.
Yes.
So, yeah. So you can, it's just, it's not just, but it's a matter of making the decision.
Mhm.
And then, doing the planning and problem solving to be able to pull that off. So maybe you're
Totally.
in coaching, which can also help a lot if you've got that. Susan saying phase 2 people who go back to phase 1, do you formally switch or just follow phase 1 rules while officially staying in phase 2? If you want to do a long stint, the best way is to just go back into a phase 1 class.
Yep.
Which is what Kate's doing.
Yep.
Kate wasn't doing like just, a few days in the box. She wanted to do a whole stint. So it's easy. It's very easy to transition in that way back to phase 1.
Yep. And then we also do have people in phase 2 who will say, like, I want to have 6 meal replacements on Thanksgiving Day, or I want to have one day where I'm really doing a lot of HMR foods and fruits and vegetables. So like you were saying, Nancy, if it's one day, you could do it in phase 2, but if it's a longer stint, phase 1.
Yeah, I mean, you can do some box days here and there in phase 2, but if you're trying to really do a stretch, get the support of a phase 1 class to do that.
Yes.
Right. And Amanda's just saying, I just started phase 1 again yesterday, ready to do it and inspire others. So
Oh,
again,
yay.
if you're making that decision,
Yeah.
we're still getting a lot of posts on this, a lot of encouragement. Jennifer's saying there's so many recipes for the holidays in our groups and on the website. Find something you like ahead of time so you'll know what to have. Yeah,
Oh,
start
great.
playing with the recipes now, right, Kate? Just make them, try them out.
Yeah.
And Pam's saying it's worth it. And I think what she's referring to is staying in the box
Totally.
through the holiday.
Yeah.
And
And
in fact, I remember Pam told us 2 weeks ago, just honestly, I don't want to beat this to death, but she said there was one day in her whole 60-pound weight loss in phase 1 that she went out of the box, and she frankly and she regretted it. So
yeah,
sometimes it can be hard to get back in the box, and you
true,
never
true,
know if
true.
that's going to be you. So just
Yeah.
something to think about.
Yeah, Pam mentioned I'm a volume eater. I do a lot of shakes through the holidays. I had a day last week, Nancy, that I did 7 shakes.
Yeah.
That's what I needed to do to stay on track. Number of days that I did 10 plus veggie fruits. We know if it's an HMR food or a veggie fruit and we're having that, it is going to be far lower in calories than anything else that we would find ourselves to getting into.
Yeah, more is definitely better. You'll end up, if you stay in the box, even with a lot of extra foods, you'll end up losing more weight than if you eat out of the box. There's just no doubt about it.
Absolutely.
All right, so
So should we wrap it up, Nancy?
Yeah.
All right. As we are nearing the end of this session, we just want you folks to remember your why. We heard so many powerful reasons this evening, and really keeping yourselves a priority. You want to do what you need to do for you, and then you can certainly be your best version for all of the other people around you. You have the opportunity to lose weight this holiday season or to maintain weight. And we don't want to, in January, look back and really wish we had done things differently. We have the chance in January to really be proud of the work that we did, which is just so different from the average person.
That's so true. And just remember the fact that you're here tonight, or for those of you who are watching this later on, this means that you are committed to a strong finish to the year. And again, we're committed to supporting you along the way with both our live sessions and in the diet community. So we hope you enjoyed this health episode. We hope you found it helpful. We love spending time with you. We love just all of your heartfelt comments. Please continue to like and support one another. And next week, this is something to look forward to. Coach Rick and Coach Jen C are going to be joined by two HMR participants, sharing again how they stay on track during the holiday season. So a lot more how-tos from some of our successful patients. So something to look forward to, and have a great week.
Wishing everyone a strong and healthy week. Bye, everyone.
Bye, everybody.
Thanks for being here.